Hi, this is Jason Mott, closer for the 2011 St. Louis Cardinals, and you're listening to WICR.
We are back from our break, and as promised, we'll get right into it. Free agency talks again, and we left off talking about their before mentioned Cespedes.
Yes.
And where do we think Cespedes is going to end up? It's going to be very interesting. There's a lot of teams who want this guy for many reasons. Ticket sales, he's good for the clubhouse. There's a lot that this guy brings to people. So what do you think is the best fit for Yoenis Cespedes in the upcoming baseball season?
I think the best fit, to be honest, actually might be San Fran. They've had a lack of offense and some injuries the last few years. You could plug him into any outfield position. I think he'd fit well. But realistically, I have a gut feeling he's going to go back to Detroit.
Yeah, I was reading something right now, actually, where people believe that he's either going to end up in Chicago as a White Sox,
right,
playing for the San Francisco Giants or the Detroit Tigers. And he had a small stint there in Detroit, and he didn't play horrible there. He had actually a good time there, and I think it would link up well for him. I think that would work out. He had a great time with the Mets. Had a 24-game stretch in which he bombed an unfathomable 15 home runs and batted .333 with an incredible on-base percentage. Like, this guy was incredible for the Mets, and he's exactly what they needed at the right time to push them into the World Series. And I think
they won't be able to afford him.
Yeah.
They won't be able to.
And it's sad that they can't, because the New York loves him, and he likes New York too. But it's just, I think it's going to work out. And baseball, these players are living in a day and age where money comes first.
Yeah,
there's no team loyalty.
I think as far as Detroit is concerned, we saw last year, they shipped out Cespedes, they shipped out Price, and kind of just tanked the season because they really didn't have it. I think Detroit has enough talent that they can, if they can get back a Cespedes, they can, and a couple more pieces, they could be right back up there, as one of the top teams in the American League. I think they gave up a little too soon last year.
Yeah.
But I think they can get it back, and they can be right back to where they were 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Yeah. Definitely, I strongly believe that the Tigers, man, that's such a good team too, because they were like neck and neck for that top position with the Rangers for like four or 5 years, and they just got outbeat every single time, dude. But that was a good team, and it'd be great to see what they can do with them and see if they can make it back to the promised land. The last made a World Series in 2006, and we all know how that turned out for them. Didn't turn out so well. So then there's David Price, where he could end up anywhere,
really,
literally anywhere.
You can never really have too much pitching, honestly, and any team could use a David Price.
If the Yankees were willing to give up that money, I think he would make. I think he would.
We could use another lefty. That'd really, really be huge, because that's something we haven't had in the rotation for a while, other than CC.
And he's only 30. He does well in our division.
Exactly. He really tears apart the American League East like no one else.
You know what a David Price could do for us when it comes to like Yankees Red Sox or Yankees Orioles.
Yep.
Yankees Rays.
And you match him up against anyone's best pitcher, and he's going to give you a good game.
Yankees Rangers. Like, this guy can help us in crucial series that the Yankees can play. And it's crazy how well he pitches. His strikeout rate is incredible, and he's like, him and Max Scherzer, they're like at the top of that game. But Scherzer got his paycheck.
Yep.
And David Price is looking for his.
David Price is looking for his, and he's going to get his. He is.
It's either going to be coming from the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Cubs, or anybody who wants to put together the money to do it.
Yeah, because I don't really think too many teams can afford to pay him.
Yeah.
So this could be one of those scenarios where you just go to the highest bidder.
If it was legal to start a Kickstarter and to collect fans, to collect money from fans, I would start a petition up and bring him to New York, because the Yankees need a good pitcher.
I would be all for it.
And they need him. They need him. I want him. Like, it needs to happen. There needs to be something big, something that brings the fans back to life in New York. I feel like fans in New York have been a little stagnant the last couple of years. You go to a game at Yankee Stadium, you don't see people
not the
cheering.
same atmosphere.
You see people checking their phones all the time. They're not even paying attention to what's going on. I went to a baseball game on July 4th. 4th of July, everybody's supposed to be watching the game.
It's not like
people
that.
Are checking their phones. People are on Snapchat. People are on Instagram. Social media has kind of taken control of the game, and it's distracting the fans. No one's paying attention to what's happening on the field. It's kind of it's wrong to see.
It doesn't feel right. I think we saw this sort of with the Mets getting Cespedes. He kind of brought that aspect back to New York. There's a show here in New York, and we want to come see it. And I think David Price could bring the same thing to the Yankees.
If you were paying attention to that atmosphere that Citi Field was giving its players throughout that whole postseason run for them, it was incredible.
It was nuts. It really was
against
nuts.
The Cubs was incredible. You could not fit another fan into those seats. It was sold out every night, and I just think that the Queens fan base they wanted more. I think that they wanted.
I think it's a shame that they probably won't bring him back because he really captivated that just the whole New York fan base, and even a lot of Yankee fans.
Definitely.
And it kind of just it was just something to look forward to. I think Ellsbury was supposed to be that piece for us. And with injuries and inconsistent play, he really hasn't been that. Tanaka also, but then you have injuries again. So, we have a couple of these guys. That's supposed to be what they're here for, and it just hasn't panned out for us.
And then switching gears, we've got another pitcher who's at the top of this market as well, and Zach Greinke. But a lot of people think that he's going to stick around with the Dodgers. He opted out of his contract, but that's probably just another way for him to get more money, and which he deserves. Because he had a really great season. He's probably going to win the NL Cy Young this year.
Honestly,
he's got good chances of doing it.
He signed a 6-year, $147 million 3 years ago. They gave him the option that his player option was midpoint, and he's taking it. And I don't really know how much more money you can give the guy. Does he want out of LA because they haven't won? That's a possibility. I could see him fitting in San Francisco also. He's only 32. He can look for a 4 or 5 year deal probably.
And who's to say that if David Price doesn't go to the Chicago Cubs, who's to say that
Greinke won't?
Greinke won't.
I think one of those two has got it.
One of these guys is going to end up playing for Chicago.
The Cubs want to win, and they're going to do what they have to do to win.
I think so, that one of these guys has to end up there because that's a market where they have an incredible fan base. They're set up in a great position. They've got the money. They've got a smart GM, and they're at a very good spot. And a lot of teams are jealous of what Chicago has put together. But this isn't just something that happened overnight. They have been working on this for years now.
Now, the more I'm reading, it seems like every single player on this list is a good fit for the Giants.
Yeah.
Now.
Not everybody can do that.
Not everybody can do that, but the thing here is that this is an off year for the Giants. Well, it was an off year. Now, it's a year that the Giants have been winning for the last. They've won 3 World Series now in the last 6 years.
I mean, if you think about the Giants and the Cardinals, who've had a stronghold over the National League for the last couple of years,
the Giants' infield is set. You have Matt Duffy at third. He's your guy for the future. Brandon Crawford, he's your guy for the future. He just had the best season of his career. Joe Panik, that's your guy at second base.
Yep.
They have this set up. Brandon Belt, that's their guy they want at first. You have the best top 3 catcher in the National League, Buster Posey.
Yep.
The best postseason pitcher in all of baseball, Madison Bumgarner. The outfield, maybe does that need a little work? Yeah, and that's why I could see a Cespedes going to San Fran, a Justin Upton, and another arm, a Greinke or a Price. I think that this could be the Giants' year again. I think that they're going to be better than the Dodgers this year. Yeah. I think I honestly really do think the Giants can win the World Series again. They're ready to spend money. They're ready to go out and do what they have to do.
It's going to be scary to see what they're.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun to watch.
Definitely. I expect good things to come out of San Francisco this year, and you can't really slack on them because Bruce Bochy's been their guy.
Yeah, he's a terrific manager. He's a player. He's a player's kind of manager.
Yeah.
And I think the Giants don't get a lot of credit because really. Even when they do have won the World Series, they didn't put up incredible numbers. They kind of slid in, and then just did what they had to do in the postseason. And, they fly under the radar a little bit, and I think that's something that they like. But I think you can never, ever count them out. They are a dynasty. You win 3 World Series in 5 years, you're a dynasty.
Definitely.
No question about it.
Nobody's going to forget that team, and no one's forgotten about them yet.
Right.
And you can't just count them out just because they haven't been around, especially this past year. But we're expected to see good things coming out of San Francisco, so can't slack on them. Also, it's going to be interesting to see where the champions come back and hold their own weight in that Central Division again.
I think for the most part they're going to. I think the Tigers will be improved. The Twins had a good year. The Indians should be a little bit better. It's going to be a competitive division. There's not really any
I
slackers.
think Terry Francona is doing a really good job.
Yeah,
out in
he's
Cleveland.
doing a great job. They have really good pitching.
They've got a really good fan base. A lot
Good
of
young
people
bats.
going to
Yeah.
those games. They've got people going to the games. They've got the city involved.
Right.
And it's good for baseball to get these small market teams good again because they're crucial to the sport.
Exactly. I agree.
It can't just be Yankees, Red Sox every year, and it hasn't been.
And it
for the last
hasn't been.
couple
It's
years.
the tide of MLB talent has definitely shifted to some smaller market teams. We see the Giants, the Royals, stuff like that. So and even the Mets. The Mets are a small market team.
Yeah.
So we have seen that the talent
The
shift
sport's
a little
changing
bit.
definitely, and it's different. It's a different time, and these players are looking for something else. But they can all agree on one thing: that they're all looking for that.
They're
big
all
paycheck.
looking for the dough.
They're all looking for the money. They're looking for the money and the success. And if you can find both in one team, that's your best.
That's
fit.
your fit. Yep.
So we're gonna take a break now. We're gonna go ahead and play another song. When we come back, we're gonna get right into some NBA talks and maybe switch gears to some college talk after that. You're not gonna want to miss this one again. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is WICR.